You are lying in bed at 1 a.m., phone 6 inches from your face, doing the thing you always do before sleep, scrolling through a life that isn't yours and hating the parts of it you didn't even ask to see. His name pops up again. Milo Ray. Another headline, another red carpet, another perfect smile that makes your jaw tighten for reasons you've stopped bothering to explain to yourself. You mutter it out loud in the dark, alone, to nobody. What a fake piece of shit. You don't even know why you say it. You've never met him. You just know you hate him. The smugness of his face, the way people talk about him like he invented kindness. The ease of a life you have decided, without evidence, must be built on nothing real. You call him a joke. You call him worse. You type none of it. You just mutter it into your pillow like a bedtime prayer made of contempt, and then your eyes get heavy, and the phone slides out of your hand, and you're asleep before you even notice the sentence you were in the middle of hating him for. You open your eyes and the ceiling is wrong. Too high, too white, too clean. Your hand comes up to rub your face, and the hand is longer than yours. The wrist wearing a watch that costs more than every car you've ever owned combined. You sit up too fast and catch yourself in a mirror across the room, and the face looking back is the exact face you were cursing out 12 hours ago in the dark. Milo Ray. You are inside Milo Ray. For about 90 seconds, this feels like the funniest, most satisfying joke the universe has ever told. You laugh out loud in his voice, in his room, in his ridiculous house, because some petty, tired part of you thinks, good, now let's see what this fraud is actually made of. The 90 seconds end fast. A phone buzzes on the nightstand, and you pick it up expecting the usual noise, and instead you find a text thread still open from the night before. Not from a publicist, not from a manager, from someone named Dara, a name you don't recognize. And the messages are simple. Thank you for covering my mom's surgery. I still can't believe you did that and told me not to tell anyone. You stare at it. You read it twice. This is not the kind of thing you say about someone you hate for no reason, and yet here it is, sitting in his phone at 1 in the morning, quiet and unbothered by any camera. You get up. You start moving through his house the way you'd move through a museum you don't trust, waiting to find the thing that proves you were right about him all along. You don't find it. You find, instead, a drawer full of handwritten thank you notes, dozens of them, spanning years, none of them ever posted anywhere, none of them performed for an audience. A hospital, a shelter, a kid's tuition, paid quietly, no plaque, no press release. Here is the first thing almost nobody who hates a stranger online ever accounts for. The psychologist Fritz Heider, one of the founders of what's called attribution theory, showed decades ago that people consistently explain a stranger's success or fame as a result of who they are, their character, their luck, their fakeness, while almost never accounting for the actual invisible effort or generosity behind it, because we simply don't have access to it. You didn't hate Milo Ray. You hated a two-dimensional idea of him that your brain built out of headlines and jealousy, because a flat cardboard villain is so much easier to despise than an actual complicated person you've never met. The car arrives, the way it always does in this life, uncalled, already outside. A driver named Sam greets you like an old friend, and there's real warmth in it, not the performed kind. Sam asks about your sister's chemo, by name, unprompted, and you realize this is not a scripted moment for cameras. Nobody is filming a driver in an empty garage at 7 a.m. Milo Ray remembers his driver's sister has cancer. You feel something crack quietly in your chest that has nothing to do with the plot you thought you were living. The day unfolds, and none of it matches the man you cursed out in the dark. A crew member drops a tray of equipment, and Milo, before anyone else even reacts, is already down on one knee helping pick it up, laughing gently, making sure nobody feels stupid about it. A kid outside the studio gate is holding a sign with his name misspelled, and instead of walking past like you assumed every celebrity does, he stops, spends 4 full minutes with this stranger's kid, signs the sign with the misspelling intact, tells him not to change it, says it's now one of a kind. You watch this happen in his own eyes and you feel your throat tighten in a way you didn't expect. By afternoon, you find yourself in a small room backstage with an assistant named Priya, and she's crying, quietly, trying to hide it, over something in her personal life she clearly didn't plan on bringing to work. Before you even decide to do anything, Milo's own instincts, buried somewhere in this body like muscle memory, move you across the room, and you hear his voice. Your voice now? Say something so calm and unremarkable and kind that she stops crying within a minute. You realize you didn't perform that. Some deeper, older part of him did it on autopilot, the way you flinch from a hot stove. Kindness in this man isn't a strategy. It's a reflex. The psychiatrist, Robert Waldinger, who now directs the Harvard Study of Adult Development, the longest-running study of human happiness ever conducted, has said that the clearest predictor across decades of tracked lives wasn't fame or money. It was the quality and depth of a person's relationships, and specifically, how much they showed up for other people in small, unglamorous ways. You spend one single day inside Milo Ray's actual life, and you watch him do this maybe a dozen times before lunch. None of it filmed, none of it posted, none of it for you, the hater in his skin, to witness and admire. That night, alone in the house that's suddenly gone quiet, you sit with his phone again, and this time you don't open it looking for the lie. You open it looking for him, and you find a voice memo dated over a year ago, his own voice, tired, honest, talking to nobody, saying out loud that he doesn't know how to explain to people that fame feels less like power and more like being handed a megaphone for a version of himself he barely recognizes. You realize the version of Milo the internet hates, the version you hated, the smug headline, the perfect smile, was never him. It was a mask built by people who profit off flattening him into something easy to resent. The psychologist Leon Festinger's work on social comparison explains part of why this happens so easily. People measure their own worth against others constantly, and it is so much less painful to tear down an imagined version of someone than to sit with your own quiet dissatisfaction. You hated Milo Ray because hating him was easier than asking why your own 1 a.m. scrolling always left you feeling worse, not better. You lie down that night in his bed in his impossible house, and for the first time all day, you're not looking for the fraud anymore. You're looking quietly, almost against your will, for a way to apologize to a stranger you've never actually met, for every cruel word you ever muttered at his name in the dark for absolutely no reason at all. The room starts to soften at the edges, the ceiling loosening the way a dream does right before it lets you go. And you feel the borrowed height, the borrowed hands, the borrowed watch, all of it dissolving. You open your eyes and your own ceiling is back above you, low, familiar, yours. Your own phone is on the floor where it slipped from your hand hours ago. You pick it up, and your thumb hovers over his name one more time, except this time there's no headline you're looking for, no smugness to confirm. There's just a strange, aching gratitude for a stranger you spent one impossible day learning was never who you decided he was. You do not post anything. You do not tell anyone what happened. You simply put the phone down, quiet in the dark, and for the first time in longer than you can remember, you fall asleep without hating anyone at all.